so you can relax and enjoy it more.
Welcome to the first of 2 Christmas programmes from County Waterford, which this year won the Foodie Destination of Ireland award. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of the good food that's on offer in the city and county. I'll be going to Lismore to visit a traditional butcher shop and to learn about spice beef. In Dungarvan, I'll visit the Tannery Cookery School and cook with Paul Flynn. And I'll be in Waterford City. JB Dubois will show me a festive vegetarian dish at GIY HQ. And of course, I'll be showing you some recipes of my own, including ideas for brunch and a light dessert, plus new ideas for turkey, beef and ham. There's a lot to squeeze into 2 programmes. My base for exploring the county and for cooking the food is here at Faitleg, which stands at the head of Waterford Harbour, where the Barrow, the Nore and the Suir rivers meet. The main house dates back to 1783, and in 1998 the house was converted into a hotel. The head chef is Jenny Flynn, who looks after 2 kitchens, which can cater for up to 600 people on a very busy day. One of the jobs you can do ahead of Christmas is cooking the ham and making a glaze. Cooking the ham is the first thing I'm going to do. I have a lovely ham here, so it's quality assured Irish ham. No bone, it's tied up and a little bit of fat just for flavour. So we're going to braise it, so we are, in some medium dry cider from Waterford. And you're always looking for new ideas, how to cook ham. For me, it's about the ham, the flavour of it, and then the glaze. We're going to top this up with some local apple juice. This is the braised liquor, but you can also use this for when you're making a nice stock for soup. Into that, I'm just going to cover with some water. So last year I would have cooked it with some vegetable stocks and some spices. This year a little bit different. So 1 onion, just chop it roughly. Sprinkle that all in there. 2 or 3 sticks of celery, that's all it needs, and then cut them roughly. We call that dice in mirepoix. I love some fresh thyme, and this works really, really well with this. And then some black peppercorns. So the lid goes on this. I'm gonna bring it over to the hob, bring it to the boil, and then you just need to skim it every so often. So just as it's coming to the boil, you let it simmer, and this is gonna take roughly about 2 hours to cook. So you let that just simmer there, so I'll just switch on the gas. So 2 to 3 days ahead, then you let it cool down. I always usually wrap it in cling film and then store it in the fridge. Strain off your vegetables, and then you have the most delicious, delicious stock that you can use for a nice celery soup, even with a bit of blue cheese, smoked bacon like that. It works really, really well, or even in a risotto. So this is what the ham looks like when it's cooked. Just with a serrated edge knife, I've made little triangles, just little score the actual, a little bit of the fat. So what I'm going to show you now is how to make the glaze. But when you're glazing it, make sure you use this. This is parchment paper. Trust me, this is going to save you a lot of wash up over the Christmas period. It's kind of sweet and sour glaze. We're going to use a little bit of whiskey. I did say a little bit. Some local Waterford honey that we're going to use here. Red currant jelly, about 4 spoonfuls of this. This is a really interesting spice, allspice. So it's a little berry. There's a beautiful, beautiful spice in this. Put in quite a bit of this. Traditionally, ham with cloves and brown sugar was a classic, and it still is beautiful, by the way, but this one is a little bit different. Now, to give it acidity, we're using some local cider vinegar. This is organic. And the mother is in it. It's unfiltered, it gives lovely acidity. If you don't use this, it's going to be too sweet. Into this, I'm going to put a little bit of lemon zest. Now, this needs to cook, and it takes about maybe 10 to 12 minutes, up to 15 minutes to cook this. So I'm going to bring it onto the heat, and using a whisk, you're going to mix them all through. See if you're sweet, sour, the whiskey's gorgeous, and that spice is so delicious. Turn this up, and we're going to cook this. So you can double this recipe. And as it cools down, it will thicken. And don't worry if it's too well set, you just warm it up, or else you can pop it into the microwave, or you can put a little bit of boiling water. This is it here when it's ready. So you can see it's thickened up on me. You want it like a thick honey consistency. So I'm going to bring over my ham here with the pastry brush. Be really generous. This takes about 40 minutes to be beautifully glazed. Now, if you like the flavour of cloves, instead of the allspice, you could use some ground cloves, or you can stud the ham with cloves. But I've done that so many times, I thought this year we'll just do it a little bit different. So this needs to go into the oven. So I have one already done. And the smell of this when it's caramelising. Look at it. How nice does that look? So you didn't really probably see the little diamonds that we cut with the serrated edge knife. And the glaze, what you do when it's in the oven, you just keep spooning this. And look how moist and delicious it is. And that is our glazed ham. What I would do is put it on a board, on a big plate, slice it up, let everyone help themselves. It'll make your Christmas dinner very special. John, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
I'm thrilled to be here. I have heard so much about you and your family and the shop. So tell me a little bit about the business.
We're not in Lismore that long. We're only here since the 1890s, but the family are in the trade since the 1600s in the general West Waterford area. We've a small farm outside town. We bring in our own cattle and sheep. We start our house here at the end of this bar, kill them ourselves and handle them ourselves and come down into the shop and sell them across the counter.
Is there any specific breed of cattle?
Yeah, it's just all Angus and Hereford cattle. It's just more traditional breeds.
Are there many abattoirs in Ireland, small abattoirs like yourself, that process?
Very few. Like there's only 2 left in County Waterford.
And when you process, how long would you hang the beast?
Generally, it'd be 3 to 4 weeks. Kind of, if you want to go any longer than that, then you're kind of going into a humidity-controlled environment, and
of course,
that's just an awful lot more space and an awful lot more fridges.
You're very well known for your spice beef. Is it a tradition in Waterford, or
it's a traditional Cork thing that it was just only eaten at Christmas. Most places do in Cork now, they do a dry spice, we do a wet spice.
Does every butcher use the same cut for spice beef, or does it vary?
Generally, it's round roast would be used now, because a lot of people just don't want fattier beef.
And when you said about, you know, a wet spice, do you put yours in a brine, or
it's in a brine? Yeah, it's in a brine with a mix of spices.
And how long would that be in a brine for?
3 weeks.
Any particular blend of spices, or is that a three? Is that a secret?
Well, I can't tell you everything.
But is there one ingredient, like is it cinnamon the main ingredient, or?
Can't tell you
sorry,
everything.
okay. So you mix up your own spice. You're being very cautious here. Yeah. And do you find a lot of people now buy this?
It is a limited market, but there are a couple of hotels now would take it, and they serve it as a carpaccio.
Do you like the flavour of it?
I love spiced beef. Just grand, a little bit of Barnes bread, a little bit of butter, a little bit of spiced beef. That's all you need.
What cut have you here now?
So this is some round roast put in for you specially.
For me, particularly. Good man. Look at this. Okay.
So you just see how dark it's after getting. That has been in for just over 3 weeks.
You just tie it up to keep its shape.
Tie it up to keep its shape. Makes carving an awful lot easier.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
And you have lovely marble in the fat on the top. See it there?
Yeah.
That's lovely. And that's all from your own farm?
Yeah.
And you would get people travelling, you know, from far and wide to come here to your shop?
We do, yeah. We get Cork people coming down for spiced beef and for corned beef, yeah.
John, it's been really fascinating to visit your shop, and I'm really looking forward to cooking the spiced beef. And have a happy Christmas. Thanks a million.
Same to you.
I'm going to show you a delicious recipe using spiced beef. So this is what the spiced beef looks like raw. And what you do is you put it into a saucepan of cold water, bring it to the boil, and you let it simmer. This takes about an hour and 15 minutes. When it's cooked, let it cool in the liquor. You'll keep it really moist. So what I've done is I've just simply cut some off, obviously they're cooked. So a small little dice of the spiced beef, and it's delicious. Some mashed potato. It's a great recipe if you've leftover mashed potato. Just simply steam your potatoes, put them through a potato ricer so you get very smooth potatoes. Put in our spiced beef, and then some herbs. So some chopped chives in there, and then some spring onion. Rocking the knife over and back, you're cutting it really nice and thin. Slide it in there. We need a little bit of salt and a wee bit of pepper. Mix this all together. We're going to shape them. Now, there's no need to add egg yolk to this, so using a potato scoop gives you a nice even size shape. Press it, shape it, roll it. See all the lovely herbs, and then we have the spiced beef. And the secret into this is to let this kind of sit, and then we flour, egg and breadcrumb them. So that's it there. That's the croquette. So I have a tray of them here already. When they sit in the fridge, they'll firm up so they will. So the next thing we do is we pan them. We dip them in plain flour, a little bit of egg wash, that's 1 egg, a little bit of milk, and then in some plain breadcrumbs. What I've done with the breadcrumbs is put a little bit of parsley. So it adds lovely colour, lovely flavour, so you have lots of herbs there. The spiced beef and the softness of the mashed potato, it works really, really well. So before I cook them, I'm going to show you a lovely accompaniment, what we call a salariac remoulade. So you just peel it, just like a turnip, and then what you do, get a wedge like this and you run it through the Japanese mandolin. So what you're doing is like a salariac coleslaw. You can pickle this, but we're going to blanch it off and we're going to put some mayonnaise into it, a little bit of apple, so it's going to be really, really gorgeous with the spiced beef croquettes. Because it's so thin, literally 30, 40 seconds should be enough. Put it into the pot and we're just going to press it down with a spoon. This is what we call to blanch it off. So it doesn't take long, and even like that with a little bit of oil, even sesame oil, it works really, really well. Now I want to let that cool down. So you've kind of blanched it off, you've kept the texture. It's not overcooked, which is really important. And I'm just going to let that drain off there. We're going to start to cook the croquettes because these are quite deep. They're going to take a couple of minutes just to cook. You can do something like a fish cake, which works really well. This is some nice rapeseed oil I'm using. Put one in here at a time. I'll do 4 of them. If you're going to do these in the oven, about 160, and they'll take about 12 minutes. We're going to get some mayonnaise. We're going to get a little bit of whole grain mustard. This gives lovely acidity, sharpness, bit of texture. some chopped chives. And this goes all into the bowl. So this is for the Salaric remoulade. Grate some apple, and I'm going to use the coarse as if you're grating cheese. So a little bit of grated apple, go straight into the bowl. Skin and all. So this gives lovely acidity, lovely freshness, a little bit of fine lemon zest, and really important in this is some lemon juice, or else the apple will discolour. Now I'm going to lift up the croquettes, just let them rest there. They look good. Cut a lemon, and I'm going to put roughly about a quarter of a lemon just in here. So we've got to mix this all together. So just to recap what's in the bowl, you have some whole grain mustard, a little bit of grated apple, some chopped chives, and you have some mayonnaise. And then mix in the Salaric. So that's perfect. So it's really, really lovely and moist. You can put in more apple if you want to. You can put in different herbs. But I want that lovely wet consistency. So it's fresh, fragrant, and the Salaric is delicious. So when you're cooking something like that in a deep fat fryer, we need to put a little bit of kitchen paper. I'm going to cut into one of these and just show you. So you can see the beautiful spiced beef, a little bit of spring onion, and also some parsley. So it's just very simple. You can jazz it up whichever way you want to. So we're ready to serve up. The first thing I'm going to put on the plate is the Salaric remoulade. So it's lovely and moist. You can see a little bit of the apple. And then we have our croquettes. I think 2 is enough. Some lovely microgreens, some salad leaves. Beautiful colour, a few little nasturtium leaves, and this is the flour. So that's my nasturtium flowers, and they add such colour, and also the leaves, they're lovely and peppery. So that's my spiced beef croquettes with the Salaric and apple remoulade. A lovely starter to enjoy at Christmas.
Always look for food with a Board B quality mark, so you can relax and enjoy it more. Look for food with a Board B quality mark, so you can relax and enjoy it more.
Jenny, I ate in the restaurant last night and had the cured salmon, and it was absolutely delicious.
Oh, that's brilliant. I'm delighted to hear you liked it now. It's all about the quality of your ingredients that you're using, and we're very, very lucky to have some lovely wild salmon from Ballyhack Smokehouse. I'm going to show you now how we done it. It's really quite easy. So it's literally putting some salt, some sea salt, sugar.
So you get the sweetness from the sugar?
Exactly,
okay.
Yeah. That's some dill and a small bit of parsley.
Ah.
And then a few pink peppercorns and some fennel seeds. And I'm putting some Galway's gin on it. This is a local gin. Anchor Spirits is the people that make it for us. It's a Fate Light gin. So it's taken from botanicals on the estate, and just making a really unique gin for us here in Fate Light.
So that's interesting now. You didn't measure it very well, I noticed.
No,
you just...
no. a good dose.
Any particular quantities of sugar to salt?
Yes, it's say 100 grams of sugar to 200 grams of salt. Just give that a good sprinkle on. So you have the salt and sweetness there. So I'm just wrapping the salmon there.
And I see you just put it on the top.
Exactly.
Okay. So what you've done there, you've just simply put the cure there, and then you have the skin and all.
Yeah,
excellent.
I always keep the skin on because it's easier when you're carving it. I'm going to put a bit of a weight on it.
I'll help you.
Just like that.
And
now,
that goes
you can put that in your fridge for 2 or 3 days, and then check it after. But in between that, turn it, because there will be a lot of juice that will come out of that. The salt and everything will melt, so that'll be all water.
Okay, and it'll actually season the fish,
It'll
won't it?
season the fish,
exactly.
You'll probably have to add more salt, wrap it back up in the cling film again, put it back in the fridge for 2 or 3 days.
So that's done, is it?
That's it, done.
Okay,
yeah,
excellent.
Exactly. So this is it. After the 3 days. That only took now 3 days.
It kind of firms up, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah. So you need to carve it really thin. Take it off the skin there.
So Jenny, on a busy night, would you slice it all to order, or can you pre-slice it?
We slice it to order. This is a pickled cucumber. Salt, sugar and water. And vinegar, just white wine vinegar.
For acidity.
Yeah, exactly. I'm putting on some nasturtium leaves from our garden.
They're lovely.
Some leaves. And I have some lovely homemade chutney here as well. Tomato and onion chutney cooked down. There's a bit of spice. It's lovely with beef, with meat as well.
Tangy and it's sweet and sour. It's delicious.
Yeah, put in another small bit of dill there. There we go.
Just
and we
simple
serve a small bit of brown bread with it.
I just think it looks so colourful, and the way you've sliced it so tiny. Look at that. You did a chutney. I can get the gin.
Yes, good. I was hoping
and the
you
chutney,
could.
I love the whole combination. Yeah. I think this is a great dish that people can make at home. It's beautiful. Well done.
Good, thank you.
I really enjoy cooking the whole traditional roast turkey, but this is a recipe using turkey breast. It's really moist and succulent, and I'm going to show you how to brine it and make a really lovely spiced butter. But you can go to your butcher and get him to take off the legs of the turkey. You can bone and roll them, and in the next programme I'm going to show you a lovely turkey satay using the legs. So this is quality assured Irish turkey. One breast here with the skin on. We're going to make an interesting brine. Slice an orange, which I've done. This is a recipe I nearly cook every year at home for my family. 1 clove of garlic, and I've just literally kept the skin on and just cut it in half. So that's going to go in on top. And then one of my favourite herbs is fresh thyme. So literally just break it in. And buttermilk. This is an American technique. So there's an enzyme in buttermilk that will tenderize the turkey but keep it really, really moist. And you need to marinate this for 24 hours. So just tie it nice and tight. So that goes onto a tray into your fridge, 24 hours. And the next thing, this is really important, you lift it out and you pat it dry. You don't cook it in the buttermilk, that's just for brining. So I've just patted it dry with a little bit of kitchen paper, and that's ready to be roasted. But before we do that, I want to show you really lovely butter. Just regular salted butter, but we're going to jazz this up. Put a little bit of diced chorizo in it. This gives lovely smokiness, lovely flavour. Cooked chorizo I'm using in this. And this is a really lovely spice. It's harissa spice. So it's kind of a Moroccan spice, and it's really, really delicious, and that's going to go in there. Some chopped chives, or you could use some thyme if you want to. And this butter is brilliant because you can make it ahead. So I'm going to mix this all together. And that's it done. You can see the lovely little speckles from the chives, the chorizo, beautiful with pan-fried fish, chicken breast, pork chops. It works really well. Even a baked potato or pasta. It's a very versatile butter. If you want to keep it, the best way I think so is to wrap it in cling film, because this can keep up to 2 weeks in your fridge or up to a month in your freezer. So I'm going to put this on top, and I'm just going to use the back of the spoon here. The turkey breast is on a trivet, and underneath the trivet we have a little bit of parchment paper. So that's going to catch all those lovely juices, and that will flavour your gravy. So this is a little bit of smoked streaky bacon, and we just simply overlap it, and it's going to keep it really moist. The one thing I like about the turkey breast is that it cooks really fast, it's easy to carve, and delicious done like this. And then a little bit of water. You can use stock, I use water. So that's going to be the base for your gravy. A little bit of sea salt, black pepper, and a little drizzle of rapeseed oil. So what we're looking for is really moist, succulent turkey. 2 sheets of tin foil, cover it quite loosely. So that's ready for the oven. I have the oven preheated at 180, and this will take about 2 hours, 15, 20 minutes. The secret is with a spoon, keep basting those lovely juices over the breast of the turkey. For the last hour, remove the tin foil so you get the bacon crispy, but also the skin crispy. So I'll come back to that when it's cooked. So this is what it looks like after 2 hours. So I've lifted it off the tray, onto a plate, and then I'm going to cover it. So it's beautiful and golden brown. And it smells delicious. So wrap it really nice and tight. I'm going to show you a lovely accompaniment is some Brussels sprouts. We're going to stir fry them. You trim them, cut them in half, and put them into boiling water for about 2 minutes. So they're not fully cooked. Into iced water, so you're keeping the colour, you're keeping all the nutrients. We're going to start the process for stir fry. Some rapeseed oil. I'm just using a nice big pan. I have it preheated. Some butter. And then we'll put in, first of all, the onion, which I've sliced really thinly. I'm going to put in the cranberries next. So these are the dried cranberries. They're lovely and sweet and sour. Just to soften them up, put all them in there. Now give this a little stir. Now chestnuts. These are pre-cooked. They come in a little vacuum pack. They're really good in the stuffing and they're really nice in this. So if you're not a fan of chestnuts, you can use walnuts or toasted pine nuts, but just let that soften now for a moment. And then our sprouts. Just give this a good mix. So there's lots of colour there. So this is the whole nutmeg here. We're going to grate a little bit of this and we're going to put some lemon zest into it. So just using the microplane, just a little bit, works really well. And I love putting a lemon in towards the end. Now, some sea salt and a little bit of black pepper. This can be done as your turkey is resting. Warm through the Brussels sprouts. You can put ginger into that, you can put a little bit of chilli if you like, and that's ready into a dish. And that, for me, is just delicious. So I've got 2 other side dishes. They're both in the oven. The first one is the roast potatoes. So what I did was par cook some rooster potatoes. Then what I did is put in this absolutely gorgeous beef dripping, and they take about 40 to 45 minutes. Put them into a dish with some lovely baby Irish carrots. Roast them off in the oven, and we just got a little bit of star anise, a little bit of oil, tiny little bit of butter, and some honey. A little bit of rosemary works really, really well with that. Pour on the rest of this liquid here. You could put a little bit of vinegar if you wanted to in it, and then just a little bit of parsley. And then our turkey. Bring that to the table, slice it up. Some delicious gravy. So this is the buttermilk brine turkey with the lovely harissa and chorizo butter. Then we have our beef dripping roasties and our stir-fry Brussels sprouts with red onion, dried cranberries, and then we have our baby carrots with star anise and honey. That is a feast I think all the family will enjoy. GIY is a not-for-profit social enterprise, helping people to grow some of their own food at home, at work, at school, and in the community. GIY stands for Grow It Yourself, and in the past year has supported over 500,000 people and 8,000 community food groups in the UK and Ireland. Grow HQ in Waterford City is the home of the GIY movement, and it's a pleasure to come here and meet JB Dubois, head chef at the cafe.
The furthest vegetable grown here is 120 paces from the kitchen.
That's an amazing and a very unique relationship with your gardener.
We're meeting 2 or 3 times a week to talk of what's coming up and all the thinnings he's got, all the odd things he needs to get rid of, and that I'm trying to think to use on our daily menus here. Yeah.
So it keeps you very creative and on your toes too.
That's it.
I think
that's
so.
it. You know.
So what dish are you going to make for me today?
So we're going to do a roast squash. So that's a fatty squash.
And how many different varieties of squash do you grow here?
So here, between pumpkins and squash, we grow between 9 and 10 at the moment. Lots of seeds coming from France and stuff like that. So,
Okay, so what's the first thing you do?
We're going to make an incision first.
And then using the point of the knife.
Point of the knife, and you go in. Always the knife the other side of the blade, and then you're pretty safe then. So you go around.
You need a bit of strength there now.
Yeah.
A lot, isn't it?
And they've been harvested about 3 months ago now. It actually gets better with time. They'll dry off and mature and get sweeter. Try to get only the seeds out to keep most of the flesh.
So you're going right into the centre, okay?
Right in the centre there.
And can you use these seeds?
Those seeds, you leave them dry naturally, put them in an envelope, and you plant them for the year after.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Out of 1 seed, they'll give you about 10 of them.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So first we're going to roast that. So I'll have a little chili oil to just
So do you make your own chili oil here?
Yeah. So it's homegrown chili as well.
What kind of oil is it you use?
So it's a rapeseed oil.
Okay. Will it be quite spicy, this?
Nice bit of a kick, but then the stuffing is going to absorb a lot of it as well. So it's going to be a nice balance in between.
Excellent.
We're just going to close it back onto a tray. As it is, 45 minutes to an hour in the oven, 140, 150 degrees. So that's that done.
Okay, I'll move that out of the way. You have actually one already done, so you're going to show me the stuffing. So what have we here?
So the stuffing, we have millet. It's gluten-free. So there's no many grains are gluten-free. And on top of that, it's very sustainable. It takes 10 times less water to grow than wheat.
And do you just boil it?
There's kind of a skin around them, so you need to rinse them out on the cold tap first.
Yes.
And then you boil them in salted water.
That's it.
And that's what you're getting. It's more or less kind of a gluten-free couscous as such. Nutty like that. It's kind of nutty taste to it.
Yeah. Not unlike bulgur wheat, isn't it?
Yeah. Inside there, we're going to put a little bit of sage.
This is purple sage.
I prefer purple sage. It's not as strong. It's more mellow-like. You run your knife through it.
Fresh herbs, like they're so easy to grow at home.
Okay, pre-cooked chestnuts.
They're already cooked.
I don't want to chop them too small to have a nice little bit of sweet bites into it. To keep a little bit of moist, nice bit of rapeseed oil in it.
Yeah.
So a nice little mix, and then stuff your squash when it comes out of the oven.
So after this is cooked, then you just stuff it.
Stuff it. Put it back in the oven for about 40 minutes.
Yes.
And that's what you get.
This is it done now.
That's
So you've
done.
stuffed it. It's lovely and moist. You can see your chestnuts here, the lovely sage, and then your millet. It gets a nice little bit of a crust, doesn't it?
Yeah, because so you see, the patty pan has got a very hard skin, but then everything inside is nice and moist. And
what would you normally serve with this now?
Brussels sprout, a bit of the smoked knock-on cheese, sunflower seeds. It makes a Brussels sprout pesto.
I've never actually heard of it before. So you just put that in the food processor?
Yeah, that's it. Touch of seasoning and a drop of our own cider vinegar.
Just for a bit of acidity.
That's
beautiful.
So nice drizzle over.
So this can be like a real kind of centerpiece. For the family, like put it at the center of the table.
That's back there. So we're going to serve my version of local cranberry sauce. Beetroot chutney.
A beetroot chutney?
Yeah, beetroot chutney. Very simple again.
It's beautiful.
A bit of a zing into it, isn't it? Yeah. So cooked beetroot diced, and you make a syrup with the shallots and the vinegar as well. Bit of seasoning, and that's it. So you get the sweet and sour of the cranberry sauce. So nice big blocks there for the color.
Good man.
Yeah.
It's very rustic. But you know what? It looks so colourful.
So if you bring that out on your Christmas table, you definitely have a wow factor. Like,
yeah, you certainly will.
Yeah.
Look at how moist that is. It's beautiful. The flavour of everything. It's just so clean, so delicious. That is a fantastic dish. Thank you for having me here. I wish you and Mike and all the team continued success. And have a great Christmas. Thanks for that beautiful recipe. In the next episode, I'll be cooking lamb with Paul Flynn in Dungarvan. giving you some ideas for a festive brunch, and there'll be recipes for turkey, poached pears and trifle. I hope you'll join me.
Cauliflower tabbouleh with sun-blushed tomatoes and fried halloumi, and all in 5 minutes. Donald's Superfood in Minutes, tomorrow at 8:30 here on One.
Welcome to County Waterford, which this year won the Foodie Destination of Ireland Award. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of the good food that's on offer in the city and county. In Dungarvan, I'll visit the Tannery Cookery School and cook with Paul Flynn. And of course, I'll be showing you some recipes of my own, including ideas for brunch and a light dessert. My base for exploring the county and for cooking the food is here at Feitleg, which stands at the head of Waterford Harbour, where the Barrow, the Nore and the Suir rivers meet. The main house dates back to 1783, and in 1998 the house was converted into a hotel. The head chef is Jenny Flynn, who looks after 2 kitchens which can cater for up to 600 people on a very busy day. Brunch is a lovely thing to serve around the Christmas period, and I've got 2 delicious recipes. The first one is a bircher muesli, and this was created by a doctor in Switzerland many, many years ago, and he gave it to his patients. So it's like a porridge, but it's different to our porridge. It's cold, it has to be made the night before, so it's lovely and soft. First thing we need to do for the bircher muesli is grate the apple into the bowl using the coarse grater, and I'm going to grate the skin. Now you can put lots of different fruits into this, dried cranberries, even some sultanas into it. That should be enough. Next thing then is our yogurt, just a plain yogurt. That's going to go in there. Put in the apple juice. So this is some local apple juice I'm using here. And then we're going to sweeten it with some honey. 2 teaspoonfuls of honey here. You can adjust this according to your own taste buds. In the jug here, I have some cream and I have some milk. So next for the oats. Of course, we're in County Waterford, Flavins, one of the oldest family-run business. Over 200 years they've been milling oats. These oats will soften and they'll absorb all this liquid. I prefer it lovely and soft and kind of like a drop in consistency. You can put in some nuts, for example, some toasted pecan nuts. Hazelnuts work really well. So it's all about texture. You have a little bit of sweetness from the honey, but you also have the freshness from the apple juice and the grated apple. Cover that with cling film, put that into your fridge, and then it's ready. This is what we have here. So I've just loosened that up with a little bit of milk, because it does kind of firm up, so it does. So you can see that lovely drop in consistency, and then we're going to serve it up. Spoon this in here. This is some granola, so I'm just going to sprinkle this over. And of course, the base for this is some oats. So we have a little bit of dried cranberry there, some nuts in there. So you're going to get the softness, the creaminess of the oats, and then the crunchiness. And then this time of year, figs are in season, and they're a lovely fruit. They're actually really lovely in a dessert. Served warm, you can actually poach them with a little bit of red wine, some star anise, some vanilla. Put this just around the plate like that. So that's our first recipe. Now for our Eggs Benedict. So it's a really, really simple sauce. We're going to pour in some cream. Now traditionally Eggs Benedict is served with a hollandaise sauce, but I think that can be tricky. So this is a really, really lovely, light, delicious sauce. I'm going to put in some mustard. This is some English mustard, so roughly about 1/4 teaspoonful goes in there. Grate a little bit of lemon, so just a little bit of lemon zest. And again, this sauce will keep for 3 or 4 days. Just literally a squeeze of some lemon. And then this needs to go onto the hob. So we're going to whisk this to mix through the mustard. I'm going to put a pinch of salt and a little touch of black pepper in here. So what I like to do with the sauce is to thicken it. So just with a little bit of corn flour, just mix it with some cold water. Now you don't want it too thick, too gloopy. And just pour a little bit of this in here. That should be enough. So before I poach the eggs, I'm going to put a little bit of white wine vinegar in here. This will hold the egg together. So I'm going to serve 2 of the eggs, and they'll take roughly about 1 minute or 2 minutes. So I just want to show you the consistency of the sauce just before I add the chives in. So it's kind of like coating the back of the spoon, which is exactly what I want. So I can just throw in my chives, chop them really fine, and then just switch that off. So now one very special ingredient produced here in County Waterford is the Waterford Blah. And it has PGI, which means Protected Geographical Indication. It can only be produced in this county, and it's a lovely soft dough, so it is. So what I've done is just cut them in half, and I've just simply warmed them up. So we're ready to serve up the Eggs Benedict. So I'm just going to place the 2 half plas. For the ham, it's a great way if you have any leftover ham, you can do this. And then the eggs are next. So when you're lifting the eggs out, if you can use a slotted spoon and a little bit of kitchen paper, it just makes life a little bit easier. So particularly with the tissue paper, it absorbs any excess water. Just using the spoon, carefully just slide these on here and then spoon this over here. You can see how colourful with the chives. You can garnish it with a little bit of some fresh herbs. Pick a few of these, just for freshness, sprinkle that over and serve it and enjoy it. And that's 2 really quick and delicious recipes. The Bircher muesli with some figs and a little bit of granola, and them are Waterford Blah Egg Benedict with glazed ham. One of the best known restaurants in Waterford is the Tannery in Dungarvan, owned by Paul Flynn. Paul also owns and teaches at the highly respected Tannery Cookery School, and he's invited me to cook something seasonal there. Paul, it's great to be back in the cookery school.
It's been a long time since you were here.
It has been a while now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's a busy time of year for you.
It is indeed, Sherwood. The advent of Christmas, of course, is busy for everybody in the restaurant trade. I'm just going to use some local ingredients. I'm also going to use a style of cooking that I really love. I spent all these years working in kitchens, I suppose, in a way, with fancy food, you know, with food that people might find difficult at home. But in the cookery school, I really try and show people about family cooking. This is just an example of the way that I would cook at home or the way I would show people in the school. So nothing too dramatic. But I first want to just point out this. This is lovely, lovely Cumara lamb, very poignant and beautiful mountain lamb. It's a shoulder, and I love cooking meat on the bone. All that flavour is just so beautiful. It's a very Irish dish, and I'm just going to kick off and just start. So we have the spuds. I'm just going to slice them fairly thickly, because this is going to take 2.5 to 3 hours. It's a slow cooking process, you know, really, really easy. Once you have it in the oven, you forget, you know, just forget about it for a few hours and it'll just look after itself. So potatoes, turnips.
Turnip, isn't that brilliant?
My food is all about winter cooking, and I love these everyday vegetables.
So you have them all sliced already, and the turnip, and what would that be, half a turnip, would it be, or a small turnip?
Yeah, it's one small turnip,
Okay.
I'd say. So, of course, you'll recognise the idea of this dish. It's lamb boulangère, made a little bit more Irish.
It's a classic, isn't it, though?
It's a French classic, and lamb and garlic, you have to go together. And you see, this is all lovely and rustic and no complicated things here. And some bacon lardons. They're going to flavour all the potatoes and the onions and the turnip and bacon, of course. They all go together. And then sage, and be generous.
And some lovely thyme.
And some lovely thyme. There's no such thing as a good, mean cook.
I love it.
Lovely local cider, a little bit on the sweet side. And so what we're doing here, like turnip and cider,
That's different.
go really well.
I'm at lamb, too. So a full bottle of cider goes in there.
Yeah. And, you know, because turnip and apple goes really well together, there's the cider. And then what we want to do is season that. Turnip and black pepper. All these things really go together. And then we're going to season the lovely, lovely shoulder of lamb. Now, we did trim the fat off the lamb because lamb fat isn't that nice unless it's crispy.
You're right.
You know, and the fat is going to go into this, and the juices is going to go into this. So give it an old rub.
So if somebody was to go to their butcher and ask for the shoulder of lamb, what would they ask for? 'Cause the shank is on it.
The shoulder of lamb on the bone, they should be able to do it for you. So really, this is a very French term. It's called plonk.
Could this dish be done with a leg of lamb?
I wouldn't do it with a leg of lamb.
Yeah.
You know, I think the fat content through shoulders.
Okay.
I would roast a leg of lamb. This is a braise, perfect for slow cooking.
Now you need a big tray and a big oven.
You need a big tray and a big oven, and the ever-present butter. Okay, so
Me
dot
and you, I
with
think we
butter.
love it.
So what we want to do is just make sure this is nice and tight. I have the oven set for 185, and we're going to cook the lamb in 2 ways. About an hour and a half, the foil on. And so it steams, and I tighten everything around there so all the flavours of the thyme and the sage and the garlic and the cider is imbuing those flavours into the lamb. An hour and a half like that, take the foil off, and about another hour afterwards. Now, I'm going to make a kale salad. Have some cream.
Just regular whipping cream?
Yeah, and this is lovely Clashganny local Waterford cider vinegar, because we need acid. We're making a cream-flavoured dressing. We have some parmesan. Parmesan goes really well with all the flavours. Just some fresh apple. Gives it freshness.
Lovely, and texture, doesn't it?
Texture and...
So Paul, tell me about some of the courses here in the school.
We do lots of things. We try to be a little bit quirky, and it's only me that teaches here. So we do Christmas courses, but it's a part-time school. Really popular one after Christmas is called King of the Kitchen.
I love it.
The women give vouchers to their husbands in hope that they're going to become better cooks or something.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Really simple cookery courses, punctuated throughout the year. Black pepper.
Okay.
Some sea salt, because This is crunch, you know, it's texture. Add.
Kale, so you've cut that really thin.
In addition, is that we have some roasted breadcrumbs.
Panko, are they the dry breadcrumbs?
No, they're not. They're just the regular.
Regular, okay.
We use panko, of course,
Yes.
but these are just the regular breadcrumbs.
Gorgeous.
All right, so that's that. We're going to have a look now to see what the lamb is like, Nevin. When you take the foil off, it starts to colour. This should be really soft, and all the lamb juices has gone into the potatoes, the turnip. So I'm just going to present this in family style. I love the whole idea. It's generous, it's abundant, and more importantly, it's delicious. Pretty delicious, yeah. It has to be all about the flavour. And then I saved a little bit of Parmesan.
It's a great kind of crowd pleaser that you put that at the centre of the table, let everyone help themselves. Right, we got to taste the lamb first to start. Look at it, it's falling apart.
I hope you like it.
Oh. I like it, I love it. Melts in the mouth. The potatoes, the turnip. And the cider.
Well, look, thank you very much for coming. It was an absolute pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
I'll try.
And have a great Christmas to you and all the family.
Thank you.
If you cook the whole turkey, this is a great recipe for using leftovers. But if you've done what I've done, is cook the breast separately, and I've asked my butcher to bone and roll the legs. Sprinkle them a little bit of thyme, a little bit of oil, salt, butter, in the oven. They'll take about 1 hour and 20 minutes. They're delicious. So this is what it looks like when it's cooked. So you can see a little bit of thyme, a little bit of colour. So all you do is just take off the string and then just dice it into large cubes, what I've done there. So that's all leg meat there. So let's start the vegetables for the satay. So a satay is an Indonesian dish. Coconut, there's a little bit of sweet chilli, peanut, and a little bit of lime. It's delicious. So I'm going to cut this roughly about the size of your thumb. So I'm just going to cut it into lengths like this. So this is the red pepper. Now we're going to add in some baby corn and also some green beans. So that's them all cut there. So the green beans, just cut them in half. That's all we've done. And then this is the baby corn. Just cut this in 3. And then what I like to do is put all the vegetables onto the plate. So you have lots of lovely colour. And then we're going to put garlic into this. 2 cloves of garlic. This is going to be the base for our satay. Now you can put ginger into it. You can put chilli into it. I don't. We're going to use some rapeseed oil. So plenty of oil. Should be preheated. So this is going to go in here. Stir fry this, and then first thing I'm going to add in is a spoonful of brown sugar. Put in our crunchy peanut butter, 2 large spoonfuls of this. I'm going to put in some sweet chilli sauce. So there's a little bit of a kick. It's nowhere too hot. You can hear it sizzling there. So I'm just going to break down just the crunchy peanut butter, keeping the pan nice and high. We're going to add in the sweet soy sauce called ketchup mayonnaise. Just look how rich and thick it is. So it's low in salt, and it's really, really beautiful soy sauce. Really good if you're doing a stir fry. In goes the coconut milk. So you can see how thick and creamy and rich this is. And then we just stir this through. So this just takes a minute just to combine everything. So it's a super, super fast recipe. You can just see the lumps of the peanut butter. And the crunchy one is better because you get a nice bit of a crunch to it. We're going to juice the full lime in here. Now look at how beautiful and juicy that is. So the lime gives beautiful freshness to this. Mix that all through. Put in my turkey just to warm it through. So this will take 8 to 10 minutes. It doesn't take long. So I'll just let that come to the boil and let that simmer. So while that's been simmering, I've cooked some egg noodles. But you can serve this with rice. You can serve it with lots of other things, even mashed potato. So these are the egg noodles. Just literally cook them in some boiling water and a little bit of salt. So they're all ready to go. Now my sauce. That's the satay. The turkey's warmed through, and nice big chunks of it. You can see that there. The vegetables are cooked. I'm going to finish it with some chopped coriander. You could use basil if you don't like coriander. So when you're chopping, just rock the knife over and back. And I'm not going to cut it too fine. And then just scoop that up there. You can smell that. So I love to add the herbs at the last minute. A little touch of salt. What I like to do is to toast some cashew nuts. You can chop them, but I like to put them actually into the satay. So the cashew nuts give great texture. Just stir them through. So that's ready now to serve up. So plenty of the egg noodles. So these are the real fine egg noodles. Just cook the noodles according to the packet instructions. And then using a ladle, get as much of that turkey as possible. And all those lovely vegetables. So you have the peppers, the green beans, and also the baby corn. There we go. It's creamy, it's rich, it's absolutely full of flavour. Just a few little sprigs, just to finish it, of coriander. And there you have it, very simple but delicious. You could actually make this sauce, add more vegetables and just keep it vegetarian, but I think it's a great one to feed a crowd. I hope you enjoyed this turkey satay.
Always look for food with the board B equality mark, so you can relax and enjoy it more. Always look for food with the board B equality mark, so you can relax and enjoy it more.
Jenny, trifle is a dessert that we all enjoy over the Christmas period, and I'm really interested to see how you make yours. Do you have this dessert in your menu?
We do indeed, yeah. Everybody has a way they make their trifle, of course. My trifle, I like using chocolate and cherries.
It's a great combination.
Excellent, excellent.
So tell me about all the different stages of this.
So this stage is already done. Here I have jelly, and I have the sponge already soaked in the jelly with the cherries and the syrup from the cherries, and put gelatin into it just to set it. It's important to set the layers so you can see it. This is Genoese sponge, sugar, eggs, flour, cocoa powder and a small bit of butter.
And is it any particular cherries?
These are Griotine cherries soaked in kirsch. Now, not for the kids. So I have the custard made here, so I'm just going to pour it on here now. I put oranges into it, orange zest, a small bit of vanilla, eggs, egg yolks whisked up, sugar and cream. Bring the cream to the boil. Kind of make an anglaise mix. So it's a homemade custard, a baked custard. And then a small bit of corn flour then just to thicken it, to get that to be able to set.
Okay, so that's the next layer, all right.
So this is the one that's set.
Okay, so you need to put this into the fridge, this one here. And
Exactly,
this one.
yeah.
Okay.
So you can do that a couple of days before, and then you can add on your layers. These two layers are probably the most important layers, okay?
So that one's already set.
So I'm going to put a small bit of berries. These are Hanley's berries from Ferrybank, and I just put a small bit of sugar on them. They came from the freezer now.
Gorgeous. So just sugar, nothing else, and
Nothing
then the berries.
else, yeah.
The lovely
Push that
jeweled
out.
effect. I love
Yep.
that.
There we go.
That's super.
I'm going to put on the cream.
So that's just whipped, regular
Whipped cream. You're counting the calories now.
No, one. Calories don't exist at Christmas. Sure they don't. You got to
No,
enjoy
you're
it.
right.
That's...
Now you can do these individual as well.
Even in a martini glass,
Yeah,
you can get lovely little
absolutely.
glass dishes.
So I'll talk to you about
Yeah,
my
talk to me
chocolate
about
mousse.
this.
It's a mixture of two chocolates. It's a milk chocolate and a dark chocolate, and it's made with egg yolks, egg whites, cream, Muldoon's, of course.
What is this?
Muldoon's whiskey.
Okay.
It's a local whiskey, toffee and hazelnut flavour going through
Beautiful.
it. So you can get the alcohol flavour, but not too strong.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so it's very, very nice.
And it's not too bitter and it's not too sweet. It's
No,
lovely.
I use 70% dark chocolate, and then the milk chocolate just takes the bitterness, shall we say, away.
So you have that in a piping bag?
I have that in a pipe bag, and I'm just going to pipe around.
Just with a star nozzle.
That's it.
It looks so shiny.
It's the quality of the chocolate. And the best thing about that as well, you're using all the egg. So
Yes.
you're using the egg yolk and the egg white. And then we're just going to garnish it now with a small bit of cherries.
Just soaked in kirsch, that's it.
That's it, chap.
Some mint.
Some mint, yeah. Just, I suppose, eat with your eyes. And I dried up some oranges,
Slice them really thinly.
really thinly. Dust them with a small bit of icing sugar.
And you can do this like at home in a low oven, isn't that right?
Yeah, 80 to 90 degrees. Now you can have them really dry, or you can have them... I have a bit of...
They're good. They're not too dry, they're a wee bit soft.
Yeah, exactly. That's it, done.
It looks amazing. A lot of work, a lot of technique, and I can't wait to taste it.
Ah, good.
But more importantly, I want to thank you and wish your team a very happy Christmas. Jenny, you have been so helpful over the last couple of days recording the shows.
Thank you, and happy Christmas to you and yours.
And you too.
Take care.
As Waterford was this year's winner of the Foodie Destination Award, I'm in Dungarvan to meet Aoibhinn Ní Chruthair, Project Manager for Food the Waterford Way. Aoibhinn, congratulations on winning the award. What exactly does it mean for the county?
This award now lets people of Ireland and beyond know that when they're coming to Waterford, they're going to get great food and drink.
And how exactly are the awards judged?
They're looking at the quality, the food, the drink, the experience that somebody would get when they come to Waterford. It's also the fact that it's a real community, and they were looking to see how the community worked together. So this is a small place. This is an agricultural place. We have the mountains right down to the sea, and all of these farmers and people and neighbours who know each other and work together. And then, of course, we've had that historic port of Waterford, Ireland's oldest city, where the Vikings first came. And they came, the first tea landed in Waterford, for example. The first cup of coffee that was ever brewed and sold in Ireland was sold in Waterford.
Really?
Yeah. The Blah, of course, came about because the Huguenots, they didn't like our flour. And so they bought this beautiful, fleur blanc, the nice white flour that we all know and love today.
And how is the award judged?
What they were looking for is to understand what kind of food and drink experiences people can have when they come here. We showed them Marie Power foraging down on the beach, and then Momo turning that into an amazing pasta dish. Or Susan Den taking some of the oysters from our bay, hearty oysters from our bay here, and putting it into a Bloody Mary. But what they really loved is they understood that this is a real community. We're a kind of small place. We all know each other by first name. So whether that's Flahavans, who are a big, amazing company, or Judith here in the Ormond, they all know each other. They all work together. We all know where to get the best food and drink and how to put it and present it on a plate.
Well, Nevin, I've really enjoyed my few days here, and congratulations to all the producers. And it's all about working together. So well done. Keep up the great work.
You're really well good, thank you.
This year, instead of the traditional Christmas pudding or mince pie, I'm going to show you a lovely light dessert. So I'm going to poach some pears in a lovely spice syrup and then serve that with a hot fudge sauce. So first thing we need to do is to make our syrup. This is just a local unsweetened apple juice. So instead of using your traditional water and sugar, we're going to sweeten this with some honey. So this is some local honey in County Waterford. We're going to get some lovely cinnamon, lovely and mulled wine, and really, really nice in this. So about 3 of those is fine. Star anise, one of my favourite spices. It's licorice, it's aniseed, and I really, really like this for poaching a lot of fruits. So 4 of these. I'm going to put the zest and the juice of some lime. So this is going to give sharpness, lovely freshness. Cut this in half, and I'm going to put the full juice in here. The one thing about this syrup, it's not too sweet. So squeeze that all in there. So the vanilla pod, we're just going to remove the seeds. Put that into the saucepan here. Now with the skin, there still is lots of seeds. If you can see, still in the pod there. Get a wee whisk, and I'm just going to combine everything together. So you have the honey, the apple juice, all the lovely spices, and I'm distributing the lovely vanilla seeds. Check that the pears are ripe, but not overly ripe. So just using a potato peeler, just go the full length of the pear, and then we're going to cut these in half. So they cook much faster when they're cut in half. And what I'm going to use just to remove the core, I'm going to use this. It's called a Parisian baller, which is like a melon baller. So that comes out. In this bowl here, we have what we call acidulated water. So it's just water and lemon juice, just to stop them from discolouring. And we're going to poach these. They look really pretty. Spread them out over the pan. The lid goes on. We're going to bring it to the boil, and these will take, I think, about maybe 20-25 minutes. Don't let them boil too fast. They need to simmer. That's really important. Then what we do is let them cool down in the syrup. Like this. This is ones we've already poached. So you don't want them going mushy. These are perfectly cooked, and they're actually improving in flavour with that lovely syrup that we've done. Next thing we're going to do is make a really simple hot fudge sauce. So just some whipping cream, some good chocolate, and 55% cocoa solid. So it means it's a really, really good cooking chocolate. This is some vanilla extract, and we're just going to pour this all into the pan. Heat the cream. You can use double cream. I use whipping cream nearly for everything. A little bit of the vanilla, and I'm going to put in this beautiful liqueur made in Cavan, Cool Swan. Delicious. Works really well. It's a cream liqueur, flavoured with white chocolate, cocoa, vanilla, good Cavan cream, and of course a splash of whiskey. Whisk this, and then we're going to add in the chocolate. Sprinkle that in, and the wee buttons, they melt really, really quickly. This just needs to come back to the boil, and that's it done. As simple as that. And I'm just going to check the consistencies. Just with a spoon is easy. And that could be the most delicious hot chocolate in a cup or a mug. And it's not too sweet. Remember, we've added no sugar to it, but there is sugar in the chocolate. When that cools down, it will kind of firm up a little bit in your fridge. Just warm it up, either in the microwave or in the pot. We're ready to serve up. Get my pears, and I'm going to fan them out. Using the point of the knife, kind of 3/4. We're not cutting right through the pear. So I'm going to give 2 pears. Just fan that out on the plate is fine. Serving this with some ice cream. This is some local ice cream made here in Waterford, and I love when ice cream is soft like this. So I'm going to put this to the back of the pears. Now, the sauce. We're going to drizzle this all over. If I put it all over the ice cream, it's going to melt really, really quickly. There's a classic French dessert called Pear Bella Helen, which is poached pears, chocolate sauce, and vanilla ice cream. Just taste it for quality control. The vanilla extract works really well, but the Cool Swan is delicious. A little sprig of mint, and then just for texture, toasted flaked almonds. And that is a very simple but delicious and light dessert. That's my spice poached pears with the hot fudge sauce and vanilla ice cream. It's been a busy couple of programmes, and I hope you've got lots of inspiration from some of the recipes that I've cooked on the shows. And as I've said before, if you're not doing the cooking, I hope you'll at least do the washing up. But I want to wish each and every one of you a very happy and peaceful Christmas. And we're going to sign off now with a Christmas carol sung by the Faitlag National School Choir. So take it away, guys.